I think we might have passed peak woke. I
Yeah,
feel like we
I
have.
feel that
I think
actually.
that, yeah,
I think that
I
what
think
happened,
that's the undercurrent.
the silent majority, which is a massive number of people, the silent majority just has got sick of it.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we hear Piers and Chris discuss the topic of cancel culture. Is the woke mob running out of fuel? They also go on to quite a serious topic about how anxiety is affecting the younger generation and potentially what tools we can use to help navigate our way through struggle. If you like the video, like the video. If there's any video or any topic you would like me to cover, please post it in the comments and I'll have a look at it and maybe I'll react to your suggestion. But in the meantime, enjoy and yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let's get back to Chris and Piers.
They've got sick of everything they enjoy in life being redefined as somehow evil and corrupting and worthy of cancellation. They find the idea of the cancel culture completely ridiculous, but they also specifically like everything in their daily life that they enjoy, from comedy shows to movies to music to statues to heroes, whatever it is. The woke brigade's only response to all of it is it's all evil, it must all be cancelled, and we must go to a form of extreme puritanism where if you even crack a joke at work, you must be expunged from human life.
I think like Piers said there, the silent majority has definitely gotten sick of being told what they can and can't say, what they should think about a certain thing. It's just taken the joy away from everything. And I personally believe that the further away from cancel culture we get, the better. As this channel stands for telling the truth, having open dialogue, having strong values, traditional values. Masculinity is all right. Young men should be encouraged to be masculine and go to the gym and be providers and protectors and seek to start a family. And, you know, good moral virtues that be kind to thy neighbor, be good to one another, and just treat everybody with respect as much as so far as you can. So it's actually, I think, a really good thing that we are moving away from cancel culture.
If it hasn't passed their humour test, which is obviously the worst outside of North Korea in the world.
Yeah, I think this tyranny of the minority has gotten very old, and it was enforced through fear. It was enforced because if you make a joke or say a thing which is outside of this purity spiral Overton window of appropriateness, that is used as an indicator. It's a smoking gun. Oh, see, that one thing that Piers said, that slip up or that misspeak or that general speak that was a little bit clumsy.
Or a genuine
that shows
joke,
that
which I just thought was a bit inappropriate but still funny.
Exactly.
Right? We used
that
to
shows
laugh
that
at them.
he's secretly the...
I think Chris touches on something here that's rather important. It's the tyranny of the minority. And Chris uses lots of fancy words and very articulate speech. And I feel like sometimes his message can be lost a little bit, or at least requires a bit further tracking. But the tyranny of the majority, of the minority against the majority, is something that's very clearly played out. All these demographics that usually have the most to say and are the most outraged are usually the ones that make up the least amount of the population. And the silent majority stayed silent because, as Chris is alluding to here, that if you say something one time or someone can point back to your history 10 years ago and you said something that was either a joke or in a group of friends, it doesn't matter. You are a racist, a misogynist, transphobe, pick the language, and that's what you are. And while the minority definitely has a place in society, I believe society shouldn't be skewed that way, because it inevitably ends up to a place where we've been now, where it really does feel like we're on the brink of collapse as a society. But let me not get drawn into such drastic things.
Racist, homophobic, xenophobic,
Yeah.
anti-Semite, whatever, that we always knew that he was. And I think that people should turn their eye much more on the ones that throw accusations than the people that are being accused, because I think it's a defense mechanism. I think that any time that someone is overly purity, nicey, like that evil headmistress from Harry Potter, it's an indicator that, oh, hang on, What about you?
Yeah.
What's going on behind the scenes with you? And we see
Yes.
this with late night shows in America. They're tyrannical behind the scenes, but out front, nicer than nice. We see this with Lizzo, someone who's supposed to be standing up for these bigger girls and giving
I
them a
thought Ellen
platform and helping
DeGeneres
them
was the best
forward.
one. Ellen DeGeneres, who led the kind of woke campaign, turned out to be an awful piece of work and ends up, of course, being cancelled herself at the altar of her own cancel culture.
Yeah, the standards you judge others by will be the standards that you are judged by. You should be very, very careful with that.
So I think the comparison to Dolores Umbridge, that's her name from Harry Potter, she's universally hated. When anyone watched that movie, it was very clear that she was the villain. But it's quite a strange thing to witness in our daily lives, that in any piece of fiction or media, we always cheer for the rebels and we cheer for the ones who are standing against power, and we cheer for the underdogs. And we cheer against people like Dolores. However, in reality, we don't seem to live that way. We seem to cower and hide against such characters. And a very wise lesson there as well. The standard you use to judge others will be used to judge yourself. And I think you can relate that to your spirituality, your religion. And like I said at the beginning, we should treat others with kindness.
One thing that struck me about young people is the amount of anxiety that exists in people, between the age of maybe like 25 and 17, 16, is unbelievable and terrifying. And people are wrestling with why this is. And it's leading in many cases to them taking their own lives, but also massive amounts of medication in that age bracket. What is going on here?
I think that there is a pathologization and a medicalization and a glorification of normal human emotions. If you live in a world which is incredibly comfortable and typically day to day, you don't have to deal with that much discomfort. You just did a segment and you were in a room that is purposefully designed to have heavy things in that you go in and pick up and put down in the same place. Yeah. It's called a gym. And that's because we have removed so many of the heavy objects that we need to live from daily life that we have to artificially create this and add it in. My point being that when existence is very comfortable, any discomfort feels like an aberration. It feels like a curse. And the more that we make existence comfortable and convenient, not to say I want air conditioning, I like cruise control on a car, all of those things, but it makes people hypersensitized. I think on top of that, there is this very strange therapy culture speak where it is the pathologization of normal human emotions. It's not that you're upset, it's that you're depressed. It's not that someone was mean to you, it's that they caused you trauma. We need to be very, very careful. And an ex-Love Island contestant, Dr. Alex, who I think actually has some role at the British government, started a campaign that was like happy pills or share your SSRI thing.
I believe this might be the most important part of the video actually, and touches onto something that I'd like to address on this channel, is that we live in a modern era where drugs are really, really overprescribed. If you're feeling bad, you're having a bad day or you're having a bad week or something's going on in your life, the remedy is to not build a better framework for how you look at the world or strengthen your mind or strengthen your body. The solution is just take SSRIs and take drugs to kind of fix the problem. And like he says, if you're upset, you're not upset, you're depressed. And I think if you look closely, you'll see who is pushing these agendas. And they're usually paid very handsomely by pharmaceutical companies, because it's easier to drug you than it is for you to fix your own problems, especially in this day and age where everything is delivered to us on a platter. One way to kind of get through the fog sometimes is just to do something difficult. And like you said, gym is maybe the easiest difficult thing to do. I think it's always a great foundation that if you're sad and life isn't, going as well as you would like it to, gym is a very, very good way to just kind of cut through the jungle and perhaps find an oasis. And that's not often prescribed by physicians and doctors. It's always straight to the meds. And I think we need to be careful of how often we fall for those kind of tactics when we can and we do have the power to fix it ourselves.
exercise is more effective than SSRIs. And then you just had a video that you put on the segment before this of some guy in the gym, maybe trying to battle away his demons,
Yes.
maybe trying to stave off
Being
his use of
humiliated by a
SSRIs.
woman. Who, if it had been the other way around, all hell would have broken loose. The hypocrisy and double standard is real. Also, I think with young people, and this is not just about young men, it's about women as well. Social media and phones, cell phones, have completely changed things as well. And I think, obviously, a lot for good. I think they're very intelligent as a group of people, the ones I meet. They're very bright, they're sparky, they're well-informed. But they're getting a constant churn of dopamine, a lot of it very negative. They're seeing wars in real time all over their social media, the most horrific imagery. And they're seeing loads of other stuff, just constantly bombarded with negative imagery in a way that, when I was young, it was unthinkable. You didn't have cell phones. There was, maybe a television with 2 channels, very heavily sanitized and regulated.
I think the main lesson that we can take from this little dialogue is that woke culture is on its way out. In my opinion, that's a good thing. I believe the liberal movement achieved some great things in the last 15 years, maybe, but it's very rapidly lost its way. So that's a good thing to say. And another thing is identifying that our generation is struggling a lot more than perhaps the world wants to acknowledge. And the best way to, my framework for getting through that is you have to build a suit of armor for yourself. And it starts with belief in yourself. It starts with self-confidence. You have to build that armor so you can go out into the world and face the criticisms that await you, face the challenges that await you. And one of the quickest ways, like Chris mentioned there, that gym exercise is better for your mental health than SSRIs or anything like that, is because in the gym you test yourself and you realize that you're not made out of glass, and you realize that you're not as brittle as your mind thinks it is. And once you start to slowly build on those foundations, you start to develop more and more self-confidence. Because if you can do that, if you can do something that's difficult like that, even in a small little section, a small sphere of the world, it gives you the ability to put on that breastplate, put on those shoulder plates, and really go to battle. Because that's what this world is, that's what this life is, it's a battle. And you need to develop the skills, the mindset, and the confidence to go and seize it, go and charge it. Yeah, very interesting video in my opinion. Started on woke culture and then drifted into anxiety and social media and stuff like that. But I think in an 8-minute video, I think there's a lot of knowledge to be taken from it. But that's all from me today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.